What made you straight up nope out of a relationship? We had been together for quite a while, 6 to 8 months, and lived together for at least 2 months when I decided to make tuna salad. I asked how he liked it. He told me. I came back with 2 bowls, half the can made his way, and half the can made the way I liked it. He completely freaked out. He said, if we can't agree on how to eat tuna, how will this ever work? I said that we don't have to agree, we can both have it exactly the way we want and be happy. He vehemently disagreed. I started thinking of all of his other controlling behavior and inability to compromise. It wasn't that day that we broke up, but it was definitely the day our relationship broke. The cheating didn't help either. Genuinely feared for my safety. I went over and we got in an argument, so I slept on the floor essentially. I went to the bathroom to text one of my buddies to come pick me up since I thought she had fallen asleep. I suddenly get a text from her saying, "Where are you?" And my phone made a sound. I froze up and opened the bathroom door and she was already standing there waiting for me in the darkness. She didn't say a word at all, just stared at me until I walked by. I went back to my spot on the floor and got under the blanket and pretended to be going asleep until she did. After about 30 minutes I decided to peek out from under the covers and she was literally towering over me in total darkness with her eyes wide open the entire time. I got the fuck out of there so fast. She taped photos of her ultrasounds of a child she lost custody of with masking tape around my apartment on her first visit to my apartment. It was already on the rocks from roughly around the time the millionth drunken argument happened. However, the moment that sealed it was when she said something to me along the lines of, if your dad wanted to be alive he would still be here. My dad died in a car accident 3 years before that. Immediately went from loving her enough to make it work to thinking she was the most vile person on earth. I had a very long and toxic relationship with an ex. I had wanted to leave for years, but he would threaten to kill himself and I would end up staying. I finally got the courage to walk away when I was diagnosed with several benign liver tumors and was told by the doctor that it was very important with this type of tumor to immediately and permanently stop taking hormonal birth control. I researched it on my own and confirmed the single most important thing I could do to avoid further complications was to stop taking hormonal birth control for good. I told my then husband about the appointment and he said, so calmly, well, that's going to be a problem. I was like, what do you mean? I'll go to the gyno as soon as I can get an appointment and we can just use condoms until then. No, condoms were unacceptable because we were married, and not having sex until I got to the gyno was also unacceptable. What really made my blood run cold though, was when he suggested that I should continue to take birth control as normal and just not tell the doctor. He'll never know, he said. Then he went on to suggest maybe I could go on and off birth control so I'd be off of it before any follow-up appointments with this doctor, to ensure that he'd never know. I was totally stunned and I just looked at him and said, you understand this could kill me? This isn't about placating a doctor, this is about my life. He just shrugged and said he wasn't using condoms and I needed to figure it out. I did figure it out. I left him more than a decade ago and have never been happier. We went to the mall and stopped by this little kiosk selling cookies. I decided that I would get 1 cookie. The lady working there said if I buy 2 I get 1 free. I decided to buy 2 and get the third one free. My date went off on this lady saying she's trying to scam me. He was legit yelling so loud that it was echoing through the mall. It was so embarrassing. If you're rude to people in customer service, you're not for me. She kept waking me up over and over all night trying to have an argument with me. The argument was about me going to sleep. I'm a black person. My bestest buddy in the whole wide world is a white person. We were roomies at one point. He brought a date over, I met her, nothing weird, but as it turned out, she had problem with my bromeo living with a black person, me. He immediately broke it off with her. I don't have many friends, but I'd like to think I got quality over quantity. Edit. It is sincerely heartwarming to see so many enjoy an anecdote of bromance triumphing over bigotry. This post just may be the leverage I need to convince my BFF to join Reddit. Thank you everyone. My brother took a girl to a high-end sushi place and his date ordered 3x the food as he did. He just got a grilled salmon. She ate almost none of it and at the end she said she ordered all the extras so she could take some home for tomorrow. When the waiter showed up for the bill she excused herself to go to the bathroom. The waiter asked my brother if he wanted to split the check and at that point my brother did the right thing and stuck her with $100 worth of sushi and booze. The girl returned to see a huge check at her seat. She came to stay for the first time. It was the night before New Year's Eve and we were planning to go out drinking for New Year's Eve. I had just worked a 12-hour shift, carpet fitter so manual labor so I was exhausted. She had a few drinks and started to get aggressive because I wanted to just relax that night but she wanted to go out drinking. We broke up 3 days later. My father was an aggressive drunk when I was a kid so I could see how it would go. If you know you're an aggressive drunk, get off the drink, man. My brother came to visit me. After I spent whole day with my GF, It was time to see my brother because we did not see each other for a long time. We prepared some snacks and about to start LOTR because both of us love LOTR. She called me and started a long conversation on phone. I said my brother waits for me and she said that I cannot spend my time with anyone because it belongs to her. It was last talk between two of us. She wanted our relationship to be exclusive but secret. She told me she was on birth control. Turns out she thought drinking a lot of Mountain Dew would make it so she couldn't get pregnant. I dated this girl who was jealous, and I mean super jealous. I couldn't hang out with my friends without her constantly calling me. Obviously I couldn't do the same. Because how could I be jealous? That would have meant I didn't trust her. That's annoying enough to end a relationship, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. After 9 months, I found out from one of my friends, who also happened to be a close friend of hers, that she had been hiding her sexuality to me. She was actually bi. At first I really didn't get why she did that. Because I absolutely have no problem with these things. Mutual friend then told me that she was going around fucking other chicks. So basically she was hiding her bisexuality so that she could have sex with any girl she wanted to, without me even suspecting anything. Sometimes she even had threesomes with the girls' boyfriends. When I told her I knew everything, she started telling me that Say didn't want me to know because those other people didn't really matter for her and she didn't love them. Needless to say, I noped the fuck out of there. Showed up late at my place one night because she couldn't sleep at her place alone. I was fine with that until she started talking about the reason why. When she was alone, the demons in the corners and edges of the room would fill the dark spots and watch with their glowing eyes. Urged her continuously to get help, to go to the doctor, but she wouldn't do it. What she was seeing was real. I felt terrible leaving her for that, but I wasn't equipped to deal with someone who needed professional help and refused it. She threw her phone at the wall and stormed out the first time I said no to sex. Just wasn't in the mood. I mean, at least it was her own phone. But Jesus. 2 weeks after my mother died, he asked, "Is that still bothering you?" I was dating a woman who was previously married and her ex had a 2-year-old child together. One night, she tells me of this plan to coach her daughter to claim this guy had molested her because she wanted full custody and didn't want this guy around anymore. I decided right then to bounce right the fuck out of that relationship. She wanted to get married after the first date. We weren't in a relationship, but I had a developing thing with a guy once, until one day when I wasn't around, he and some other friends of ours went to a bar and he sneakily slipped stronger alcohol into some other girl's drink there. This girl apparently was talking a lot with one of her other friends and not showing much attention to him, so he got jealous and threw this friend on the floor and started to strangle him. He was obviously thrown out of the bar after that and later tried to play it off as just a joke and just messing around. How do you jokingly try to strangle someone anyway? Anyway, I dropped this guy out of my life right after I found out. I definitely wouldn't want to be stuck with someone like that. After our second date, we were hanging out with mutual friends. I was teasing another guy about something very trivial. Guy I had been seeing walks up to me, grabs my wrists and starts screaming in my face to apologize for disrespecting his friend. I left. He called me later, crying and apologizing. Nope, just nope. He was violent when angry. Like crazy angry. What did me in was when he sped up on a dark county road and turned off the headlights. We survived, and as soon as we got into town I got out of the car and relationship. I had a huge crush on her for a while but never had the opportunity to talk to her given our weird work schedules. Then a friend from work sets us up. I was elated. First date goes really well and we hit it off. We start spending as much time as we can around each other, talking on the phone every night, all the special things you do when you're starting a new relationship. Then she starts coming over more often unannounced. She would say for a couple nights, then a week, then 2 weeks. I would come home from work and she would be in my house, sometimes drunk. Thing was, she had almost been fired for an incident involving alcohol before and was lying to them about her sobriety. She would have a few too many, then go off about her family or how I wasn't taking our 2-month relationship serious enough. Final straw dropped on Valentine's Day this year. She gets annihilated to the point of not being able to walk on her own. After I refuse her drunk advances, she flips out. What followed was a couple hours of her threatening to drive home drunk, sitting outside so the cold weather would freeze her to death, laying in my bed and wailing my name till hoarse, and alternating between manic laughter and crying. 2 days later, once she was sobered up, I told her to kick rocks. We dated for just around 3 months, quickest turnaround ever for me in a relationship. When he told me that women should not drink beer, it's not ladylike. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more daily videos.